growing up in Houston, Texas, Thurman Thomas quickly learned the great life lessons of hard work and perseverance. After a successful football career at Oklahoma State University, Thurman was drafted by the Buffalo Bills and was a key part of the Bills' 4 straight Super Bowl teams. For his achievements on the field, Thurman received numerous awards, including NFL MVP and Offensive Player of the Year, and was named an All-Pro 5 times.
Just like any team, if you don't have a running game, you have nothing. And Thurman Thomas was one of the key ingredients to not only our running game, but helping pull our team together, because everybody knows about the bickering bills and all those things, and everybody knows about Thurman's comments, my comments, Bruce's comments, all of ours. But the thing is, we came together, and Thurman was a big part of that.
If you watch a lot of film of that era, you'll see Thurman in on everything. You'll see him with the blitz pickup, you'll see him getting out in pass routes. He was the complete player. I don't know that you see it that many these days. You see good running backs, you see good backs that receive well, but you don't see all 3, and that's very, very important to what we were doing in that K-gun.
He had 8 players go in the draft ahead of him, and he can name every one of those guys. He will never forget those guys. And he came back from that and said, I'm going to be the best. So he is now one of the 303 best players in the history of this game, of the hundreds and millions of guys who played it.
Thurman Thomas was inducted into the Pro Football Hall of Fame in 2007, and Bills fans everywhere know the impact that number 34 had on the field. Today, it is his hard work and perseverance and his desire to give back to the Western New York community that drives him and his wife Patty.
You know, he might seem larger than life, but when you meet him and get to know him, he has a heart of gold and just really wants to get involved and be a part of what he's working on. And so Thurman and Patty first got involved with All-Star Night, which is our black tie gala. He was here with his wife to get involved and volunteer and donate their time and really be a part of our culture and the things that mean so much to us.
I've not heard of a time where he was able that he said no to us. He chairs our golf tournament, which supports scholarships here for students.
Like, for instance, a few years ago, he did a fundraiser, and it was like a celebrity bartending fundraiser up at 34 Rush there in Batavia. And my gosh, they raised so much money that that team was able to go to a trip to Georgia last year. And the players flew, coaches flew. Organizations in Western New York just don't get to do that.
With Patty by his side, Thurman's success as a football player and community advocate is exceeded by his deep love for his family.
And what struck me was how deeply committed these guys were to their family. They're showing me pictures of their girls, pictures of their son, telling me stories. And it was very clear that these guys loved each other and they loved their kids. That this guy is a husband first, a father second, and a Hall of Famer third.
They had been living in Orlando. The kids were all in school there. Their oldest had started college at University of Florida when my dad got very sick with a brain injury. And when he got out of the hospital, he needed 24-hour care. And we were struggling, taking time off work, and talked to Patty and Thurman about it. And he said, no, let's go. We'll put the house up for sale. Let's go take care of your father. And they moved back home. Thurman pitched in and was doing a lot of that during the day, doctor's offices and visits and therapy that was really overwhelming for the family. Never hesitated to jump in and do that.
They recently, in some respects, took custody of 3 kids who needed help.
Personally, he saved my life. If he didn't step in and play the role he played, there was no chance of me doing. Even being a freshman in high school, he pretty much taught me how to be a man and step up, and I had to be a better role model for my sisters, and I couldn't be doing the same things I was doing, so he saved my life.
When you ask people what drove Thurman Thomas as a football player, many will tell you that it was his heart. That same heart that drove his passion for the game of football fuels his compassion for people in need.
There were some kids back in the past couple of years that, financially, maybe a dad lost a job or something like that, and they heard of it and just called me and said, whatever the balance is or whatever, whether it be hotel rooms or whatever, just tell them it was paid for. Don't tell them who, just it's done.
And one day Robin came up to me and she said, you know, Mark's been diagnosed with terminal cancer and, you know, things are going pretty badly. And I said, well, and he'd never met Thurman. I said, well, let's go to a football game. And I asked Thurman, and, you know, that just tugs at your heartstrings because you're asking him to spend time with somebody. Anyway, we went to a game, and we were in the box. And it was not long after Patty and Thurman had come home after being away for a while. And when the crowd realized Thurman was up in that box, he just got all kinds of attention. And afterwards, Thurman said, you know, I want to take you down to the locker room. But they couldn't get out the door because so many people had come up to the box and were in the hallway waiting. And Thurman looked at him and he says, do you think you can do this? And Mark said, wherever you're going, I'm going. He took him by the hand and they climbed out the window, out into the seats, and walked down, and Thurman helped him over the railing into the field and walked him into the locker room. And Mark said he never forgot that till the day he died. He said he was just so excited. You know, just to see him just reach back and take this grown man by the hand was so touching.
In the community, Thurman's one of those guys that if there's somebody in need, he's right there. If somebody needs help, he's right there. If you need somebody to talk to, 34 is there. Thurman is not one of those guys that goes out and, you know, puts his name everywhere. Thurman is a guy that definitely makes a difference. He made a difference in my life, not only on the football field, but off the field. When I was going through my tough times, number 34 was the first one there.
I know when, you know, Jim Kelly was going through his struggles in fighting cancer, I think that Thurman was there by his side almost every day.
I just love the guy. He's always been a part of my family, and he always will be.
For his drive, heart, and service for the Western New York community, Niagara University is proud to present Thurman L. Thomas with the 2016 Legacy of Service Award.